I never thought a simple mistake could change everything. I grew up in a family that, from the outside, seemed normal, maybe even enviable. My parents were loving, my younger siblings were bright and lively, and I always felt safe in the walls of our home. But that night, everything I thought I knew about them shattered, and the truth I stumbled upon nearly destroyed not just my family's image, but the bonds that held us together. It all started with a routine chore. I was looking for some old family photos in the attic, a dusty, cramped space full of forgotten boxes and memories long pushed aside. While rummaging through a pile, I noticed a small, unmarked envelope tucked behind some old files. It was odd because I had explored that attic hundreds of times before, and had never seen it. Curiosity got the better of me, and I carefully pulled it out. Inside, I found a stack of letters and documents. At first glance, they looked like normal correspondence. But as I skimmed through them, I realized these weren't ordinary letters. They contained conversations, financial statements, and handwritten notes that made absolutely no sense to me at first. Then the words hit me like a punch to the chest. My parents had been hiding something monumental for years. I won't lie, fear and confusion flooded my mind. I read on, piecing together a story that I had never imagined. My father, the man I had always seen as honest and kind, had been involved in a series of secret dealings, transactions that skirted legality, people he had wronged, and debts that were owed by strangers I had never heard of. But the worst part, my mother knew about it all. She wasn't just aware, she had been actively helping him cover tracks, communicating with lawyers and intermediaries to keep the family safe. I couldn't breathe, my hands were shaking, and my heart was racing so fast I was sure someone would hear it upstairs. I wanted to stop reading, to put the envelope back and pretend I hadn't seen anything. But my eyes were glued to the pages. I had to understand the full extent of what I had accidentally uncovered. Hours passed, every revelation was more shocking than the last. There were names of people who had vanished mysteriously, accounts with massive sums of money moving in and out, and threats, direct, explicit threats that my parents had somehow managed to deflect. The more I read, the clearer it became that if this secret ever got out, it wouldn't just embarrass our family, it could destroy us entirely. I remember the exact moment panic set in. A letter addressed to my father contained a warning from someone, a man or woman who knew too much, demanding repayment and threatening consequences. The words were chilling. You cannot hide this forever. Your family will pay. I dropped the envelope. My mind spun. How could they live with such danger quietly for so long? How could I have been completely oblivious while my parents carried this weight silently? The next day, I confronted my father. I tried to remain calm, but the question spilled out. Why? How? What's going to happen now? He looked at me, and for the first time, I saw fear in his eyes, a deep, bone-chilling fear that I had never associated with him. Slowly, he revealed pieces of the story. Years ago, before I was born, he had made a series of desperate decisions to save the family from financial ruin. Mistakes compounded mistakes. He had been trying to correct them ever since, keeping every detail from us to protect his children. My mother had been his partner in secrecy, ensuring that no one else in the family would be caught in the crossfire. I wanted to scream, to cry, to run away from the truth. The realization that the people I loved most were hiding such massive secrets left me feeling hollow, like the ground beneath me had vanished. I couldn't process it, and worse, I knew I had the power to expose it, just by speaking to the wrong person. That thought terrified me more than anything. The following weeks were a blur. I became hyper-aware of every interaction in the house. Every phone call my parents took, every late-night discussion, every envelope left on the counter felt like a ticking bomb. I couldn't tell anyone outside the family. I couldn't even tell my siblings. The secret had to stay buried, or it could destroy everything. Then came the night that cemented my understanding of how dangerous this really was. I was cleaning the attic again, trying to make sense of the documents, when I noticed a shadow outside the small window. Someone had been watching our house. I froze. My father had warned me never to touch those letters, but I hadn't expected someone to follow up on it. The figure disappeared, but the fear it ignited was permanent. From that night on, my family became hypervigilant. Conversations were whispered, emails were deleted immediately. My parents started checking every move I made online and offline, not to control me, but to ensure I didn't accidentally reveal anything. I began to understand their paranoia, the immense pressure of living with a secret that could ruin lives. Months passed, and life slowly returned to normal, but I couldn't unsee what I had found. I couldn't unhear the threats, couldn't ignore the weight of the knowledge I carried. The secret had changed me. It had changed my understanding of family, trust, and protection. I realized that love sometimes exists alongside deception, that parents sometimes make choices no one else can understand, and that knowing the truth can be as dangerous as ignorance. Even now, years later, I still occasionally revisit that attic in my mind. I still imagine the envelopes and the letters, and I still feel the cold, creeping panic of realizing that one wrong step could have destroyed everything I loved. My family survived, yes, but the truth I accidentally uncovered left a scar that no apology or explanation could ever erase. And that's the lesson I carry with me every day. Some secrets exist not to hurt, but to protect, and some truths are too heavy for anyone to bear until fate forces them into your hands.